Whew. Well, I'm still trying to catch my breath here, guys. Did about a 10-second, 40-yard dash there, so I'm really feeling in the spirits tonight as we get into the last night of region play. So I'm not in midseason form, but I sure hope all of our teams are. It's an exciting night here as we finish off region play tonight. The last week, we've got two teams, one of which right here at Briarwood Christian School, the other, the Thompson Warriors, battling for region titles tonight. If both teams win tonight, they walk away as region champions. Those just two of the highlights that we've got on tap for you this evening. Alongside Tyler Rayleigh and Andrew Simonson, I'm Alec Etheridge, and welcome into the Shelby County High School Football Pregame Show. And guys, we got a busy night ahead. We're late starting already. Mainly my fault most weeks, and that's the case again this week as well. But we're excited to be here with you. So we're just going to jump right in and go through all of the games that we've got on tap tonight. And we start down in the AISA and the ACSC, guys. Obviously, we talked about it earlier today, but Cornerstone Heritage forfeits that game. Cornerstone gets a win in that one, snaps their two-game losing streak technically, but a team that still very much in the hunt there for an 8-man state championship in the AISA. But we do have two games taking place in the AISA and ACSC, so let's start there. Evangel and Trinity, Coosa Valley and Macon East. Andrew, I'll start with you on both of those games. What are your thoughts there? Who walks away the winner?
Coosa Valley Macon East is shaping up to be an absolute shootout. You've got two really good, really explosive offenses along with the Macon East team that's just been an absolute wagon throughout the year. They've got a phenomenal defense as well. But I look at that game last week against Cornerstone. Cornerstone did a phenomenal job taking the fight to Macon East and maybe expose some flaws in that defense as well in order to get there. I think Coosa Valley has the offensive talent in order to keep pace for a little bit, but I think Macon East pulls away in the end and proves to 9-0 going into next week's matchup against Escambia. And then Evangel Trinity, a good county battle to close out the regular season. For Evangel, it's a 4-game win streak right now. That will take Evangel into conference tournament action as the number 1 seed. So big props to them for doing so. I think they've got a lot of opportunities here against a Trinity defense that's put up allowed a lot of points to be put up on its end. So I expect Evangel to go out, do what it's been doing the last 4 weeks, walk away with another victory, head to that semifinal matchup against Lighthouse, a full refreshed unit.
I echo those same thoughts. I think it's pretty much going to be the same across the board for me. Tyler, I assume you're going the same way there when you look at Coosa Valley and Evangel's matchups tonight.
Exactly. I think Coosa Valley is in a spot, like Andrew said, where they have a really good offense, but Coosa Valley has also been stagnant at times, and I think this game against Macon East really doesn't favor them as much. I think Macon East continues that undefeated record that they have coming into this game. As for Evangel, I also think they carry on the 4-game win streak that they have, getting ready to go into the playoffs on a hot streak. I do think Evangel wins this game over Trinity. Not much problem at all.
Well, guys, let's jump into the AHSA, and we got some busy games, a busy night there, a lot of good games taking place. And we start in the 2A classification. The Vincent Yellow Jackets coming off a huge win over Isabella last week. They lock up the 2 seed here in Class 2A Region 5, but now a matchup against Greene County, one they dropped last year in a similar situation. Easy to lose this game if they're not, back into rhythm this week, still kind of celebrating the win last week. I don't think that's going to be the case. But this is a Greene County team that's good enough to be able to win this game. Tyler, I'll start with you on this one. What are your thoughts on Vincent and Greene County?
Well, I do think this game could be a trap game, like you said, Alec. I mean, after coming off that win against Isabella, you got to think this Vincent team is on a major high, getting ready to head into the playoffs with a home first-round game. But I think Lucas Weatherford has realized that with those 2 losses that they've had over the course of this season, it's a wake-up call for them that they really – the playoffs start now. It feels like they don't want to get bad mojo going into the playoffs. I think that's what propels them to a win against Greene County tonight. And I just think Vincent's really preparing to head in that postseason on a high.
Yeah, Andrew, I know we talked about this on the show earlier in the week, but a team in Greene County that's scoring just 23 points per game. To me, with Vincent's defense, the consistency they've had on that side of the ball really throughout the entire season, that's the big difference maker in this game for me. I know we both think that Greene County can compete, but at the end of the night, with that defensive effort of Vincent, the offensive struggles we've seen from Greene County, it feels like Vincent's got the upper hand in this matchup.
It also feels like Vincent's just hit another level on the offensive end as well. Weirdly enough, because they're without their starting quarterback in Lane Mims, limited the last couple of weeks, and having Landon Archer step up in there. He can throw, he can catch, he can run, he can do it all. He ran for over 200 yards last week, and I expect him to have another big night here as well. Look for him to play a big factor in the reason why Vincent is able to overcome the potential trap that Greene County could face and then roll into a county battle with Montevallo next week.
Yeah, and Vincent right now, the way they're playing, that momentous win last week, they don't want to lose that momentum. If they can come out, play strong defensively, they're going to be just fine tonight. I think the offense will be able to slowly work into pace and rhythm in that game. I expect the Yellow Jackets to walk away with the win there against Greene County. Great chance to continue their momentum as they get ready for the playoffs this year. And a hopeful deep run there for the Yellow Jackets in the 2A classification with the talent that they've got. Well, now we jump into the 5A classification, Montevallo and Jemison, and this is a game, both of these teams just looking to build some confidence and momentum heading into the offseason as they close out this season. This is a game, the battle to avoid last place in the region. The winner of this one will have the edge there from that standpoint. Montevallo's lost 7 games in a row after winning that opener 14-6. The offense has just never really gotten around, but they've shown some improvement the last couple of weeks. Defensively, however, still giving up north of 40 points at 41 points per game. But meanwhile, Jemison right about on par with that on both sides of the ball. They've struggled defensively as well, giving up about 40 points per game, scoring just 19 points per game. So before I get these guys' opinion on that one, we got to tell you about Montevallo Main Street, proud sponsor of the Bulldogs on this year's show. And whether it's Friday Night Lights or a quiet Saturday stroll, there's always something special happening on Montevallo Main Street, from unique shops and local dining to community traditions and small-town charm. It's the kind of place where neighbors gather and Bulldog pride runs deep. Make downtown part of your routine before the game, after the game, and all year long. And we finally got that fall feel in the air. We got some great festivals coming up. Art Stalk on October 25th, and then the Day of the Dead Festival right after Halloween on November 1st. So make sure you get down to Montevallo and Montevallo Main Street this fall and enjoy the beautiful scenery and the great weather down there in Montevallo. So, Andrew, let's start with you on this one. Montevallo, Jemison, both of these teams looking for that confidence. Who gets it at the end of the night and walks away as the winner?
Call me crazy because I know Montevallo's defense has struggled mightily over the last few weeks, including giving up 60 points last week against Sipsey Valley. But the offense is trending in an extraordinary direction, and that's all because of their run game. They've been trending in phenomenal ways with Caleb Merriweather and with Jordan McCary getting involved in the quarterback run as well. I think they're going to find a lot of opportunities against the Jemison team that, while it does have some difficult weapons to go up against, namely a guy on the defensive line who's one of the top recruits in the entire state, I think this is going to be an opportunity where Montevallo can try to get those hard yards on the ground and be able to limit the amount of time that defense is on the field. I do think that Montevallo, with those past 2 weeks, has been trending for a game like this where they're facing a Jemison team that hasn't been quite as strong. So I think it's going to be a barn burner, but I do believe that Montevallo is going to come out, get that win. I've said it all week. I felt confident in it. I'm going to stick with it at game time.
Tyler, what says you? Do you think this is a game Montevallo is able to come out and do some things improved on the offensive side? Maybe they score enough points in this one to walk away as a winner in a battle of two defenses that are really struggling. Whichever offense seems to come out and start fast may have the best chance in this one.
Well, history says that when you have two teams whose defenses are bad, that the offenses should have a really good game. But I think while Montevallo's offense has improved, I do think Jemison comes out and gets the best of them tonight. I do think it's very close, but again, my thing all season has been Montevallo has not proven to me that they can go out and get enough done to win this game, and I just think it's the same way tonight. I think I'm in the minority of our staff who picked Jemison to win, but I do think Jemison comes out, gets a very close win against Montevallo, and shaves off that last place terror.
Yeah, you and I on the same page there. I just think we've seen a little bit more consistently from Jemison's offense compared to Montevallo's this year. They're also used to playing up at this higher of a level of a classification compared to Montevallo, who to me still feels like a 3A team, much less a 5A team. So this is a team I think should be in the 4A classification right now, playing up in 5A. Jemison's kind of used to being at that level. I think that gives them an upper hand as well in that matchup. Let's jump ahead and let's talk Chelsea Benjamin Russell, a game in which you look at Benjamin Russell as the region champion, one of the best teams in the state this year. big opportunity for the Hornets. They have heartbreak the last couple of weeks, or last week against Helena, keeps them out of the playoffs. They obviously lose to Spain Park the week before that too. But this is an opportunity for this program, still been a decent season, to still show that they're going to fight to the end of this season, carry that momentum into next year as well. So, Tyler, let's start with you on this one. Chelsea, Benjamin Russell, what are your thoughts on this game and who walks away as the winner?
Well, unfortunately, you said, Alec, that Chelsea does have a chance to make this season better than what it has been the last 2 weeks. But unfortunately, they're playing two of the best players in the state and one of the best head coaches in the state in Kirk Johnson at Benjamin Russell. Sedarian Morgan, Kingston Prier, it's just, that's a tandem that's really hard to stop. And Benjamin Russell has been on a high, has a chance to go 8 in a row tonight here in their next to last game of the season against the Chelsea team, who has been on a little bit of a low. I just think that's going to be too much for Chelsea to handle tonight, and Benjamin Russell's offense is going to run wild and take this game pretty comfortably.
Well, and Andrew, we talked about this earlier in the week, but this Chelsea offense has struggled against the best teams that it's played this year, scoring 9 or less against their best opponents in region play. Is this a matchup where they can somehow find that rhythm? Obviously, the run game's been the success story for the offense this year, but in this matchup going up against a very good Benjamin Russell team, it's tough to see this Chelsea offense all of a sudden flipping a switch and being able to score enough against this talented of a team.
Yeah, it's a really talented front for Benjamin Russell overall. I saw Spain Park be able to get a little bit of yards on the ground, but I think it will be difficult for Chelsea, especially if that run game continues to be hampered by an injured Chase Malone. We saw him try to gut it out a little bit as well, but without him and Morgan Barnes at full strength, it's really hard for me to see this Chelsea team doing a lot of things, especially when you look at what the secondary has been able to do for Benjamin Russell. Elijah Johnson is an absolute ball hawk, and I expect him to lock up the top matchup pretty well against Logan Strunk, which kind of limits some of his options through the air as well. I just think that defense is so good, and it really does pair well with that Benjamin Russell attack, and it should just overall lead to a solid night overall for the Wildcats. Unfortunate for the Hornets, but they'll have a chance to bounce back next week against Oak Mountain.
Yeah, they scored 7 against Pelham and Spain Park, and then 9 last week against Helena. Now they're going up against arguably the best defense in this region, giving up 16.9 points per game. And Benjamin Russell, just tough to see this Chelsea offense scoring enough tonight. I like Benjamin Russell in that one as well. Another straightforward game here. Let's jump to Spain Park, Chilton County. And before we talk about this one, we got to tell you about proud sponsor of the Spain Park Jaguars, Wayne's Pest Control. And while the Spain Park Jaguars are playing defense against their opponent, Wayne's Pest Control is playing defense for your home. This football season, don't let mosquitoes, fleas, or ticks sideline your family's outdoor fun. Wayne's environmentally safe mosquito treatments will keep your yard clear, and their affordable Mosquito Plus program also eliminates fleas and ticks. Protect your family and pets today and take the bite out of the great outdoors. For quality service and peace of mind, trust Wayne's Pest Control. Call 866-WAYNES1 or visit callwaynes.com to learn more. Guys, I'll keep it pretty simple here. Spain Park, the much better team going up against Chilton County. 1-8 Chilton County team. They've lost 6 in a row, scoring just 10.9 points per game, giving up 30. Basically flip those around with a little bit more, and you've got Spain Park on the other on both sides of the ball. So this is a Spain Park team that's much better tonight. Andrew, I'll start with you. Quick thoughts on this game for the Jaguars.
Yeah, Spain Park so far been looking to get that fast start in games. I think they're able to find one here as well. I think they managed to dominate through the air and then start building up J.D. Thompson in the backfield, because I've said it all along. Once he gets healthy and they have 2 guys in the backfield plus a Brock Bradley who can throw and run, this team is going to be absolutely dangerous, and it will absolutely be able to stack up against McAdory in the playoffs, which we know now, given last night's result against Bessemer City, is going to be their first round matchup. So now it's all about getting healthy and getting ready for that matchup. They obviously play Gardendale next week as well. So I expect this team to come out, make sure they make a statement early, and I expect a whole lot of the Nash Davis experience to bring it on home.
Yeah, I think that's a good opportunity for them to get some depth and experience in this game as they near the playoffs. Tyler, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, like Andrew mentioned, Nash Davis actually came in a little bit last week's game against Calera. Kenorico had 3 touchdowns in the first half alone. They got J.D. Thompson back last week. They're working Nick McKissick back in.
Yep.
Guys, I think this is just a game where Spainport's offense thrives, and they're going to get ready for that home playoff game in a couple weeks. I think this might be an opportunity. You get this win, you start resting your guys a little bit to build up for that home playoff game there in the first round of Class 6A.
Well, and Chilton County is a team that the best side of the ball for them is the defensive side. To be giving up just 30 points per game when the offense is only scoring 10 is pretty impressive. But Spain Park's offense, I think, has one of their best nights of the season tonight. 3 running backs all coming back. They're all starting to get healthy in that running back room. They've got 2 or 3 receivers with one of the best quarterbacks in the state. This offense is just at a new level right now, and they're going to get better and better, I think, as we near the postseason. Still a lot left from the Spain Park Jaguars. Expect a big win for them tonight there against Chilton County. Well, that takes us to, let's go to Pelham and Leeds. Tyler, this is going to be a fun one to cover, but you look at this matchup. This is one 5A Leeds, 6A Pelham, but they're both pretty even on paper. It should be a really entertaining game with the playoff seating pretty much locked up for both of these schools. Not really much at stake, but a good test for both of these teams as we near the postseason and close out the regular season. Before we talk about this game, we got to tell you about 3D Air Services. Finally getting that nip in the air, getting a little bit colder out here. You have to crank that heat on sooner rather than later. You want to get that service, you have some issues there, you're going to want to call 3D Air Services. And since 2005, they've proudly called Shelby County home. They're more than just your trusted HVAC company. They're neighbors, friends, and supporters. From keeping your home comfortable year-round to sponsoring local schools and athletic programs, they're committed to making a difference in our community. As proud sponsors of the Pelham Panthers, 3D Air believes in the power of teamwork, dedication, and community spirit, values they carry with them to every job they do. 3D Air Services, your trusted neighbor, keeping Shelby County comfortable, one home at a time. Well, Andrew, let's start with you, and then we'll go to Tyler covering this game. But Pelham and Leeds, a big matchup here between these two teams. What are your thoughts on this matchup and the key difference maker at the end of the night?
I thought these two teams were pretty even coming into the week. You look at what both of these teams did. I think they did both of those things very well. Both teams have a solid defense that can allow them to get the stops that they need to when they need to, and both have a pretty explosive edge through the air. But the one difference maker to me, Tyler reported it earlier, but Dylan Smith will not be going for the Pelham Panthers tonight. Starting a freshman at quarterback for the Panthers, and we saw after Smith went out with a shoulder injury last week that this entire offense struggled to get up to speed overall. Now, obviously, a full week of practice, that could change everything versus having to make a spot appearance in the late against one of the best defenses in all of Class 6A and Benjamin Russell. So we'll see if that changes this week against the Leeds team. That's definitely a step down from Benjamin Russell. But unless this Pelham team's just able to run the ball down the field a lot and then just get frequent stops to make up for that, I think that Leeds has the edge and they're able to get the explosive plays to outpace this Pelham offense.
Yeah, that was my X factor all week, was whether Dylan Smith was going to play or not. If he played, I felt like they had a chance to win. If he didn't, thought it was going to be a little bit of a tough battle. Sad on senior night for him not to be able to go out there and play in this matchup. But at the same time, smart decision. They got a lot ahead, big goals ahead. Don't need to risk it if he's going to be able to come back this season. Rest him up and get him ready for the postseason. So, Tyler, your thoughts on this one, the atmosphere out there, and what you think is going to happen at the end of the night between Pelham and Leeds?
Well, right now it's cheery. Right now it's senior night. They're having the seniors honored right now. The players, the cheer, the band members. It's all happy out here tonight. But like Andrew said, Dylan Smith not being able to go tonight is really a key factor. Joe Hampton's little brother, a freshman, is starting in his place, has a chance to be good. We'll see what happens with the belts tonight with him under center. But a big thing also tonight is that Leeds is missing 3 of their top offensive stars. Both their running backs are out. Their top wide receiver and Brooks Ford is out. We're going to really see what these defenses have to offer. And I know Jerry Hood's a good coach here over for the Green Wave. It's going to be an opportunity to see what these guys have to offer with their bench players, some of their best being out. And we'll see what happens. But I do think Leeds through the air is going to be the difference tonight. Sam Waller's a really good quarterback. Taylor Gator's an amazing wide receiver. I think that's how the Green Wave get a win tonight.
Well, and that's the funny thing about this time of year, and as we're making our predictions earlier in the week, you just don't know what's going to happen with playoff seeding locked up. You don't know who's going, who's going to get the rest. Sounds like smartly for both sides, some good guys going to get some rest tonight as they near the end of the regular season and start preparing for the postseason. Should be a good battle, and it could be a storyline there at the end of the night if we have a freshman quarterback go out and have a great performance there, lead Pelham to the win. So follow Tyler along all night for the updates there from the Pelham leads matchup. That takes us to Helena and Calera County battle here between these two. And this is a Helena team that has started to play hot football at the right time. They were doubted. We all doubted them. I counted it out a couple of weeks ago. The streak was going to come to an end. They've used that as motivation. This is a team that's clicked, and it's been without starting quarterback Nate Ferguson. Caleb Soriano stepped in. He's played well. Ferguson starting to work back in from the injury that he dealt with. Now Helena playing its best football of the season, but arguably so are the Calera Eagles. This is a team that's improved as the season's gone along on both sides of the ball. Before we talk about this game, we got to tell you about Oak Mountain Hearing, proud sponsors of the Helena Huskies. And don't let hearing loss bench you this season. At Oak Mountain Hearing, we help you stay in the game so you don't miss a single play. Whether you need help from hearing aids, hearing loss, or tinnitus, Oak Mountain Hearing is here to help. Now open in Pelham. Call 205-728-1690 to set up a consultation. Don't let hearing loss issues affect your well-being. Hear every word effortlessly with Oak Mountain Hearing. 205-728-1690 or oakmountainhearing.com. Well, guys, a big matchup here in a county battle. I know we're running short on time, so your quick thoughts here on the Helena-Calera game. Tyler, let's start with you.
Yeah, Helena, I think they're on a real high right now. They've gotten themselves back in the playoffs after a really bad start to the year. I think that's where Helena's rolling right now. I think Richie Busby's got his guys ready to go out, play some ball, bump some heads, and they're going to go out and get a win tonight after Calera really struggled last week against Spain Park on their senior night. I think Helena goes out there, puts on an offensive show. Davis Kelly, Dom Ferguson, and Dom
Santiago. There you go, yeah.
My brain's not working tonight, guys. But that offense is going to be really high-powered, and I think that's what wins it.
Yeah. I think it could be a sneaky good game. Andrew, what are your thoughts on this one? I think these are two teams that Helena's now locked up that playoff spot. The last 2 weeks been so emotional for them. Calera just trying to get some confidence and build for the future. Nothing to lose in this one. What are your thoughts on this one? Can it be a sneaky good game, or do you think Helena's going to walk away as the winner pretty easily?
If both of these teams are able to establish the run, look out, because it's going to be an absolute firefight on the ground. And I think both of these teams are going to have some great opportunities to do so. But I will say, Helena has been improving a lot on the defense. You got an absolute ball hawk in Jonathan Roberto. Got 20 tackles a couple weeks ago against Pelham, a stat that we haven't heralded as much as it deserves. And he's been doing those types of performances all season. Had another solid week last week against Chelsea. And then this front line. It was a little undersized coming into the season, still kind of is, but they're working and they're getting that game experience to get themselves up to that level where they can go up against guys like Jordan Ward and Jordan Henderson. It's going to be difficult, especially with the weeks that we've seen Jordan Henderson go on in the past few games, but I do believe that Helena going to get enough on the defensive side to make the difference in this one. Yeah,
Helena's still struggling a little bit on the offensive side. They've never had that standout game where they've just blown a team out. And maybe this is the week that happens. I don't think so because of Calera and the way that they play. They're always going to be able to score points late to come back if they need to. But this is a Helena team that's starting to play the game they want to play. And I think that's the difference in this matchup. I think Helena walks away as the winner. They really power through offensively early, and then they start to pull away from there. Get off to that fast start is going to be a key there for the Helena Huskies. Well, that takes us to the Oak Mountain and Hillcrest game. So let's go ahead and look at that one. And, guys, I'll turn it over to you real quick here in this matchup. This is a game where Oak Mountain maybe has some opportunities here. Andrew, let's start with you, Oak Mountain Hillcrest.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an absolutely phenomenal offensive showdown for a lot of different reasons, mainly because we've seen Hillcrest be a very good offensive team in the last few weeks, especially in that game against Prattville. They ultimately fall short against the Lions, who are now battling for a playoff spot. Hillcrest now out of the mix. But this is a team that's been very good since moving up to Class 7A, carried on that momentum from those record-setting runs that we saw them go on in Class 6A, and I think they're going to pose a lot of challenges for this Oak Mountain defense that will very likely be without one of its top players in Jaden Aparicio-Bailey. I'll be interested to hear from Timothy Bellin and some of the guys over in Tuscaloosa to hear what an update on his health is. But if they're without him, they're going to find it very difficult to go up against this Hillcrest offense and guard this team through the air. I think overall, Oak Mountain going to have to show a lot of its offensive firepower in this one, but it's going to be an interesting one. And I think overall, Hillcrest going to have just enough to outpace Oak Mountain in one that could honestly go for over 60 points combined. I think that could happen.
Yeah, let's jump ahead to Tyler. I'm going to go to the national anthem here, guys, real quick. And Tyler, I'll let you finish off our Oak Mountain Hillcrest section or preview here. Oak Mountain team that's just not scoring enough points to me, in my opinion, to have a chance in this one at 16.9 compared to Hillcrest at 30.4 points per game. So, Tyler, do you think the Oak Mountain offense can do enough in this game to have a chance?
Well, I think it is going to be really difficult for Oak Mountain to go in there and really play well on the road against a Hillcrest offense who is filled with junior starting quarterback Jordan Chambly. He has a lot of dynamicism that he is able to go with and really run the ball, pass the ball in the short, medium ranges. I think it's a lot for that Oak Mountain offense or that defense to handle tonight. That Oak Mountain offense has really been struggling. Charlie Vaccarelli, he has the potential, but his youth has showed, and that's not really a recipe for success for the Eagles tonight and Coach Shane McComb. I do think the Eagles, after scoring 21 points on one of the top defenses in 7A and Hewitt Trussville, really kind of bodes well. They're improving, but I think that Hillcrest offense, when they are hot, they are really hot. They've scored over 30 points in I think 5 games this year, and that's a recipe for success for the Patriots. They're 5-2 all time against the Eagles. Hillcrest is going to go out there and get a win against Shane McComb in their final game of the regular season after losing to Prattville last week.
Yeah, I think it's just too much for Oak Mountain's offense in this one to be able to come up with enough points. Hillcrest defense has been a little shaky at times, but they've been a really good football team at times this season too. I think Oak Mountain's going to make this a sneaky good game for a little while. We'll see if they can hang tough long enough into the second half to have a chance to win this one. Could be a surprising outcome at the end of the night, but with some of the injuries and things Oak Mountain's dealing with, I just don't think they'll have enough to actually pull off the win at the end of the night. As we jump ahead to Thompson and Prattville, a big game there for the Thompson Warriors as they can win a region championship tonight as well. If they lose this game, don't even want to think about it. Andrew, you may be able to break down that scenario for us there in Class 7A Region 3. But I want to remind you, proud sponsors of Oak Mountain, proud sponsors of Thompson as we wedge in between those two games. Wayne's Pest Control, call Wayne, or 866-WAYNES1, callwaynes.com for all your pest control needs. Getting a little colder, all those pesky little bugs wanting to find their way inside to some warmth, make sure you call Wayne's Pest Control, 866-WAYNES1, callwaynes.com. Guys, let's talk about Thompson Prattville. Tyler, I start with you in this one. What are your thoughts on this matchup? To me, I said it earlier in the week, it was one of my bold predictions. I think Thompson's going to come out like a wrecking ball in this one and want to prove a point after what happened last week against Hoover. How do you feel about this one, Tyler?
I think they're furious after last week.
Yeah.
I think, and I mean, this might shake some heads a little, but you said it yourself, Alec, this weekend to me personally, is that Thompson's defense should be embarrassed about what happened last week. And really, they're going to go on the road against this Prattville team who's fighting for a playoff spot and fighting for their lives right now. And I think Mark Freeman knows what his team needs to do in order to have success in the playoffs. And I still think they do, but they're going to come out there, like you said, have an amazing game. I think their defense is going to come out there on fire, pose their will against a team who is, I mean, let's be honest, obviously inferior to the talent level. That it's just going to be too much Thompson tonight on the road against Prattville, and they're going to shatter the dreams right there.
Well, and the crazy thing, this is what I did on the show earlier in the week, and I read the lead here. While the Thompson Warriors are playing defense against their opponent, Wayne's Pest Control is playing defense for your home, and that's where I called them out. I said, where was the defense? The offense has played well enough. Their big mantra since I've covered them under head coach Mark Freeman has been, if we score 20-plus points, we should win the football game. Our defense is good enough to win the football game. And so that's the big question tonight I have for you, Andrew. This is a Prattville team that's been playing its best football of the season, playing some good, solid, sound football the last couple of weeks. They could pull off a big win here. It would go a long way for their program. But where does Thompson stand defensively? Do they get back to the Thompson defense we've seen throughout the season at times? It's been dominant and arguably one of the best in the country. Or do they fall back into the same mistakes we saw last week? And can this offense continue to play as well as it has to be able to pull away in a game like this?
Well, the offense, I have no questions about the offense. I think that while the run game is been pretty abysmal at times, Trent Seaborn's playing at a Mr. Football level. He's doing the things that he needs to do at a very accurate and very explosive clip. He'll be fine. Don't even worry about his part of the offense. But the defense, I don't know anymore, because you have drives where this team goes out, gets dominant 3 and out, sacks in the backfield, makes big pick plays in the secondary with guys like Devontae Tab and Micah Fleming, and then you also have plays where it just absolutely blows up in their face, and you have big plays, big explosive plays be given up, like we saw last week against Hoover. I don't think Prattville's quite at that explosive level, but they're going to have to contain this team up front if they want a chance to win this game.
Yeah, and I kind of turned my camera there. We've got the Briarwood players coming out of the locker room, getting ready to run out on the field here in just a second as we jump to our game of the week between Briarwood and Hayden. We've got both Andrew and Tyler going to the national anthem right now, so I'll give you my quick thoughts. We're about 8.5 minutes away from kickoff here at Briarwood Lions Pride Stadium, and it's going to be a great matchup here, great opportunity for the Briarwood Lions, who, with Corner losing last night to Carver Birmingham, you've got a Briarwood team now that can win a region championship even with their loss to Corner earlier in the season. A win tonight, Corner would have 2 losses in region play. Briarwood and Ramsey would both have 1 loss in region play. Briarwood would have the tiebreaker because of that early season win over Ramsey. What a miraculous turnaround that would be for the Lions from where they started the season, the offensive struggles they were facing. Now they look like the better team coming into this matchup. Hayden sitting at 0-9 overall, scoring just 15.3 points per game, giving up 46.2. Briarwood's offense, the struggles we saw early in the season, that's become a bright spot for this team. The defense has started to struggle a little bit, but I think the defense is also finding their rhythm going closer to the end of the season as we get close to the playoffs. So, guys, just talking about you look at this Hayden team in this matchup, scoring just 15.3, giving up 46.2, should be Briarwood's best game of the season, and they should be region champions at the end of the night. Andrew, I start with you on your closing thoughts with this last matchup of the night.
The key word is should be, because listen, Briarwood is like a 99% favorite to win this matchup. Hayden is a winless team for a reason, and Briarwood completely outclassed them in last year's matchup. But it's all about coming out and being able to do enough in this matchup to get across the line and actually win that region championship that you've been fighting for. And quite frankly, this team has believed it's been region champions going into the season. A lot of preseason hype going into them as well. And I'm with you. I think it comes down to playing a complete performance on defense, because you're going to get a massive test next week against McAdoo. You then get a rematch against Leeds, most likely if you win this matchup. If they win this matchup, win the region championship, they will be hosting Leeds in the first round. So to prepare for those 2 matchups, you need a good performance on both sides of the ball here. It's something to where you can get up early and then be able to rest the starters as well. I expect Briarwood to come out motivated and be able to do just that on both the offensive and defensive sides and put together a statement win.
Well, Tyler, the banner right behind me here says the tradition lives on, and for a while it seemed like region championships were the tradition here at Briarwood. So does the tradition truly live on tonight for the Briarwood Lions? Do they walk away with a win in this matchup, which I think we all think they will, but ultimately do they do it convincingly and win a region championship here at the end of the night?
I think they know what's at stake, and this is the time that Briarwood continues that tradition. It's gonna be all for them tonight, all for the Lions Pride Stadium that place is named after. I think it's going to be a blowout, honestly. I think, like Andrew said, Hayden's winless for a reason, and this is a time for their stars to feast tonight. And I think we know what's going to happen. Briarwood's going to go out there, execute, get ready for that with that region title, and get ready for a home playoff game, potentially against Leeds there in a couple weeks. I think it's just a time for those stars to show out. And I know Garrett Witherington's getting ready for that game, but this is his time for the Kentucky to commit to show what he's made of, and I think he will. Briarwood wins comfortably tonight.
Yeah, and just from my quick note of the teams coming out, Briarwood very pumped up right now, jumping around, a lot of yelling, excitement. Hayden just kind of quietly jogged to the other end, almost like they know what's about to happen. Hopefully nobody's watching the show that's going to feed that to them right now, because then they could come out and want to punch somebody in the mouth and try to set a tone early in this game. But Briarwood's the better team, should be able to walk away with the win in this one pretty comfortably unless they're distracted, and I can tell you they ain't distracted. So should have a good performance there for the Lions tonight, which means a region championship. Will we have 2 region champions at the end of the night? Briarwood wins, they get it. Thompson wins, they get it. We'll see how it unfolds along with the rest of our matchups. Last night of region play, last week of the regular season, next week. Most all of our games on Thursday night, the games that we do have, all of our HSA games on Thursday night next week with Halloween on Friday. But we'll be back next week with the Shelby County Football Show. We'll be back next week live with our pregame show. And then the postseason kicks off. It's all winding down. It's the best time of the year. We got the hoodies on. We got the pullovers and jackets on. Feels great out here. It's football weather. It's football season. Let's let it roll. Guys, have a fun night. Enjoy your exciting nights there. And everyone, thank you for tuning in and hope you all enjoy your football Friday night.